For those of you who are new to us, just the elevator pitch here. We have 4 key points that we're trying to drive home today. We are in the right neighborhood. Again, we're in one of the world-class mining jurisdictions between Hemlo and Timmins, Ontario. We have the right foundation. We have a starter resource, all shallow from surface down to 150 meters that anchors the property. And this property is 80 kilometers long. In other words, we own most of a greenstone, an underexplored greenstone belt. Good place to be in Ontario. We have the right team. We have a number of people that are really diligent and excited geologists in the field. And as a founder, I've been involved in the discovery or building of some 7 million ounces of gold resources over my career throughout the Western Hemisphere. Finally, we have the right plan. That is, we are not interested in mining. We are interested in building a 2 million ounce or plus a sizable gold deposit that will attract a major in this nascent greenstone belt, gold greenstone belt. Before we get to those details, a little bit about our share structure. 108 million shares outstanding. We have very tightly held share structure. 15% are owned by insiders and co-founders. 27% are held by 8 funds, led by Crescat Capital out of Denver, who owns 11% of us. It includes AIS out of Connecticut, few European funds, Commodity Discovery Fund, Bally, Alpha, and a few others, Palos out of Montreal. So we're pretty pleased with that group, that support by institutions. And then finally, we have about, I can't read that from here, but 23% high net worth individuals. You can see from the chart on the bottom, we peaked at about between 20 and 30 cents last fall, but that turned out to be a short-lived effort because our previous 10-cent financing in early summer last year resulted in the 4-month hold coming off at this time and led to a lot of profit taking because at that time we were trading between 20 and 30 cents. We expect to do that again. A little bit about the project now. Our flagship project, the Hawkins Property, as you can see there in the center of the map, it's located on the trend between Timmins on the right side of the map and Hemlo on the left side of that trend, the left side of Hawkins. That's our flagship property. Our second property, which we'll talk a little bit about, the Bandor, is located on the same trend after it dives under Lake Superior and pokes its head out on the west side of Lake Superior. Both are similar in that they have not had much work done on them over the years until we've gotten a hold of them. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a little bit. The Hawkins property is anchored by the Inferred Resource, 6.2 million tons, grading 1.65 grams per ton for about 328,000 ounces of gold. That's 3.5 kilometers long, and once you move away from that zone, east and west along trend, there's been no drilling done along that trend, so it's wide open all around. A little bit more detail of our flagship Hawkins project. Again, on the right-hand side of that map, superimposed on the geology is the claim boundary. It's 80 kilometers long. That's, as I said, most of a greenstone belt. In Ontario and Quebec, 80 kilometers is like driving from Val d'Or, Quebec to Noranda, and some 70 million ounces of gold have been mined from that stretch of gold belt. This is like walking into that gold camp in 1910 with the advantage of having modern knowledge and modern technology to help us explore to try and find. And all we have to do is find the first couple of million ounces, and that's our goal. So I'm going to back up here a second. The Mckinnon Zone, you can see, is pointed out on the in the center part of the map. We have the western claims, which we call the KB claims, so a big block of 100 square kilometers. The central Hawkins corridor in the center, it's a long 15-kilometer stretch on a narrow stretch in the middle there, and on the eastern side, we just call them the eastern claims or eastern claim block. That's about 40 kilometers in and of itself. A little bit more about the Mckinnon Zone. So we're a new company. We did our IPO in 2020, late 2020, last day of the year. Since then, we've drilled 13,000 meters on the Mckinnon Zone to try and see if it has the footprint to grow bigger. It has similar geological characteristics to the Hemlo gold mine, which is located 100 kilometers away. That is a disseminated component to mineralization, as well as quartz-sericite schist and all that stuff. So we want to see, well, does it have the potential to get bigger? The results of that are that in the top diagram on the left, that's a side view of the Mckinnon Zone. The purple is the actual resource. It's about 150 meters deep on average from the surface. We were able to increase, that red dashed line shows the increase of the Mckinnon Zone down at depth. We intersected gold in all the holes down at depth up to 700 meters deep, ranging from 15 grams per ton over a meter to 66 meters of a quarter of a gram. These are exploratory, these are early days, and we will be following that up in our next drill program, which we plan in the fall time, winter. You can see we get from the table below, we get up to 30 or 40 grams per ton over a meter in some cases in the drill holes. So it's got a good system there. So next steps, where are we going now? Well, we discussed we tested the Mckinnon Zone as we planned. We now show you a map of the central Hawkins corridor, 15 kilometers long from edge end to end on that map. You can see the location of the Mckinnon Zone in the middle. We have a number of targets now that we're stepping off to the side. We're starting to spread our wings. As we'll show in a minute, we staked a whole bunch of claims last fall and haven't had a look at them geologically yet, and that's what we're working on now. Our geological team is now out there as we speak. We've got prospectors on the property as well, and we are spreading out from the Mckinnon Zone proper to try to help identify new drill targets for our upcoming next planned drill program later in the year. And then more broadly, well, I'm not going to talk about that at this point in time. More broadly, you can see the map in the center shows the whole claim block again. In gray on that map center are the optioned portion of the claims that we optioned from an underlying owner. And the orange portion of the map is all the staked claims, which we staked in the fall. Again, this work will involve prospecting and mapping on both those ends to help develop new drill targets and new trenchable targets to do some channel sampling on. So we've got a lot of activities planned going forward, leading into our next drill program in the fall. And then that's our flagship Hawkins Project. Just a side note on our Bandor property, 10-kilometer long property west of Thunder Bay, Ontario. Like Hawkins, it has a couple of historical resources. These are non-compliant resources, but they come with good grades, 6 or 7 grams per ton average grade. Our first goal, we've spent the wintertime compiling the data, and we have decided that our first steps on this property will be actually a small drill program, a 1,000-meter drill program, which we will test the 2 historical resources there, with a few shallow holes on each. That's the main zone and the number 4 zone on the blue circles on the right-hand side of that map. And then one new target on the west or the left-hand side of the map, the blue oval, BOE number 2, for what it's worth. It underlies an IP anomaly, a geophysical anomaly, which is important because both the main zone and the number 4 zone also underlie IP anomalies. So this has never been drill tested. So that's the summary of our activities. We've got a lot underway, and it's already on go. And if you have any questions, please let me know, or stop by our booth at number 334. Thank you.